Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Raktim and I am here to discuss on the topic of housing. Housing is an important practical topic in community medicine. It is often been asked in Viva and in our long case and short case practical exams. So let us discuss in brief about the housing and the housing standards that are being followed. The housing. Before starting the topic of housing, let us first discuss about a family. A family is a group of individuals who are related by blood, marriage, or adoption, and who are living under the same house, sharing the same kitchen. That is known as a family. So, when we say a family or a group of individuals who share the same house, so we have to know about the concept of housing. The housing concept, it not only includes the shelter or the house, it also includes the immediate surrounding areas and the community itself. I mean to say, the house as well as the surroundings and the peri-domestic environment is important in the concept of housing. The surrounding area of the residential houses forms the neighborhood. With this basic concept, let us move forward to the social goals of housing. Number one, as we all know, roti, kapra, and makan. That makan or the house or the shelter, it is the basic necessity of for all. It is one of the social goal of housing. It provides us a space to stay. Number two, since we have discussed about the family, the house provides a space for the group of individuals or the family to stay. So it provides a good family life. It is important for work productivity and family stability because if you do not have a proper housing, then the family will not be able to stay in a stable manner. Thus, it also affects the work productivity of the individuals. That was about the second social goal. Coming to the third one, as I have mentioned in my previous slide, that housing provides a community. So, it provides access to the community facilities. It provides a stable relationship with the neighborhood, with the community, so that the family can participate in the community setting, the shared responsibilities in the house and in the community, and thus it leads to better living condition for the family. And the lastly, it provides economic stability because if you own a house, much of your wealth will be kept to yourself. The family will not be paying anyone the rent, the extra expenses gets decreased. So it provides stability economically and thus brings well-being to the family. That was all about the social goals of housing. Now coming to how we can implement these goals. As we mentioned that housing, to have a house you need a capital. And for that there are many government schemes and many NGOs who build houses for different uh, sections of the family or the society. So the social housing schemes, it is one of a way to implement the goal of housing for all. It thus establishes the minimum and the maximum standards of housing because to construct a house we need certain standards. We cannot just construct a house in our own way. We need to follow a proper set of guidelines so that the housing have a positive and a beneficial effect to the family or the individuals who live in. What are the standards? We would be discussing it in coming slides. But as of now, we just have to remember that there are standards to set up the housing. Third, the financial and the fiscal institutions also help the low income group for house building. There are many government schemes, the Indira Gandhi Awas Yojana, the Prime Minister's or the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana for the Gramin. It helps to build houses for the low income group. So these are the ways of implementing good housing for all. Moving forward to the healthful housing criteria. Our second point of establishing the maximum and the minimum standards of housing, we would be discussing it in details one by one. So, for the healthful housing criteria, the housing provides a physical protection and shelter. It provides a space to live for the family members. It protects them from the environmental threats, from the heat, cold, rain, even from other living animals. So, thus, it provides a physical protection and provides a shelter for the individuals to live in. It thus provides a space for cooking, washing, eating, bathing, etc. House also prevents the spread of communicable diseases. It makes the disease confined to a place. Suppose if a family member is suffering from a disease in the house uh, creates an environment so that the disease do not spread to the outside community. As well as if suppose a disease is being there in the community, and if you are confined to your own house, then it also prevents the spread of that communicable disease from the community to your house. So it does prevents the spread of communicable diseases. It protects you from the noise and the pollution hazards. Just like if you are inside the house, you will be safe from the noise pollution outside. You will be safe from the land pollution or the dust and all, from the sunlight, scorching heat. So you all will be protected from the noise and other pollution related hazards if you are inside a house, and that house is a healthful house. It is free from physical arrangements or the toxic materials. Since your house is clean and it is not polluted, the physical arrangements is as such that the toxic materials are not there in the house, so it protects you from all those toxic materials from the outside environment. And lastly but not the least, it encourages the personal development as well as the community development by participating in community matters. It allows the family to grow. That was all about the healthful housing criteria. Moving forward to the standards of constructing a house now. Number one, the site. When you are choosing a site, it should be elevated from the surrounding area. The foundation where you are constructing a house, it should be a little elevated from the surrounding area. It is because with due course of time, when the land settles down, your house would be in a very low lying if you are constructing it in a low lying area. As well as when you are constructing a house in a elevated area, then your house would be safe from waterlogging. The water pollution will not occur. You will be many a time free from vermins and the other rodent hazards. So that is why elevation from the surrounding area is important. It should not be in a swamp or the areas, otherwise the foundation would be weak. So thus it is being said that elevation from the surrounding area is important to create or to construct a house. Number two, the house should have an access to the independent street. In front of your house, there should be an independent street. That is one of the standard of the site where you choose. Because if your land is or the site where you are constructing it do not have an open or the independent street, it becomes difficult for accessing to the environment, or the accessibility is restricted. So thus an independent street is very much important. Number three, it should be away from the breeding place of mosquitoes or flies. Otherwise, there would be nuisance of the hazards of mosquito leading to various mosquito-borne diseases. Or if there are flies everywhere, or the breeding place of flies uh, in and around the house, then many of the communicable diseases or the food poisoning cases can be at increasing, or it can be in a alarming stage. So that is the reason the breeding place of mosquitoes, flies should not be there in and around the house. There should not be any open drain or space. Okay, there should not be any place where the waste materials are dumped in, the garbages are dumped in. Hmm? The site should be away from all those places. Then it should be away from the dust, smoke, smell, noise, traffic. Otherwise, the health hazards of uh, the air pollution, the noise pollution, it will occur. And lastly, when you are constructing a house, the subsoil water should be below 10 feet. It is often asked in MCQ exam. Okay, so that is the reason I have mentioned it here. The subsoil water should be below 10 feet. Now, moving forward to the setback area now. Setback area means the open area in and around the house. Suppose this is a house. These are the open space area in and around the house. Okay, so that is known as the setback area. In case of rural areas, the construction of the house should be such that the setback area should not exceed one third of the total area. And in case of urban area, it should not exceed the two-third of the total area. Okay, there should not be any obstruction to light or ventilation. So that is the reason setback area is very much important and it should be there. We often tend to see that the setback area in large metropolitan cities like Delhi and Mumbai, the setback area is not there. The buildings are built in such a manner that it is close to one another without having any setback area or the courtyard. It leads to various health hazards to the family or the individuals living in there. So that is the reason this setback area should be present in and around the house. Now coming to the floor area. The floor should be impermeable. With impermeable, I mean that the water should not be coming from below, or if you pour water, it should not go down just like that. So it should be impermeable surface. It should be hard. It should be free from cracks or crevices. Otherwise, if there are cracks or crevices, it leads to the breedings of insects, prevents harborage of dust. When there are cracks or crevices, the dust will accumulate it there. Again, it leads to air pollution. The vulnerable age group of under 5 or the adolescents or the geriatric population will have various respiratory infections if there are dust harboring in those cracks and crevices of the floors. Again, it leads to various insects. There will be nuisance of those insects or the other arthropods. Thus, the floor should be smooth and it should be free from cracks and crevices. Then it should be damp proof. If the floor is damp, it leads to various respiratory diseases again. The pneumonia is very much common if there are damp floor space area in your household, particularly in case of under 5 years old children. That is the reason the floor space area should be damp proof. And again, the plinth area. With plinth area, I mean that the area of the house, the foundation area where the house has been built, it should be 2 to 3 feet above the ground. That is the plinth area. Now, coming to the walls. A house, before going to the walls, I want to explain that a house have a roof, wall and the floor. The walls should be reasonably strong and it should have a very low heat capacity. It should not retain heat from the surroundings or the environment. It should be able to dissipate the heat to the outside so that the inner temperature remains cool. Then the walls that are built for the houses, it should be weather resistant, because the walls should are subjected to sunlight. The walls are subjected to rain. These are subjected to cold in all weather conditions. So that is the reason we have to choose the materials of the wall in such a way that it should be weather resistant, unsuitable for the harboring of rats or other vermins. Otherwise, in those cracks or crevices, or when there is a harboring place, those rats and other vermins will stay, and it will lead to different diseases in the family. So the walls should be unsuitable for harboring those rats and other vermins. It should be smooth. The walls should be smooth and it should not be damaged easily. If the walls are not smooth, then there are high chances of the cracks or crevices being left. Thus, it should be plastered and the walls should be smooth and it should be damage free. That was all about the housing standards of the walls. Now, coming to the roof and the room as such. One thing to remember is the height of the roof. It should not be less than 10 feet. This height, this height from the floor to the roof, this height should not be less than 10 feet. It should not be less than 10 feet, or it should not be more than 14 feet as well. Because if it is less than 10 feet, then the proper ventilation will not take place. Due to low height of the roof, there would be a sense of warmth. The effect of heat would be increased. It will be unsuitable for to stay in a comfortable manner. Again, when there is more than 14 feet height, then the air exchange or the ventilation will not take place adequately. The hot air will not be able to go to the outside environment if the height of the roof is more than 14 feet. Thus, it is recommended that in between 10 to 13 feet, it is an ideal height of the roof to be constructed, and it is a standard. So just remember that the height of the roof should not be less than for 10 feet. It should have a low heat transmittance coefficient. With low heat transmittance coefficient, I mean that the roof should be able to absorb the heat, and it is able to disseminate the heat to the outside, rather than the effect of heat being showing inside the house. Due to low heat transmittance, what happens, the effect of heat is felt in a very less manner inside the house. Again, the rooms, when they are built, ideally it should open to an open courtyard. With this, the concept of setback again comes into play. The rooms, the windows or the doors should open to the outside environment like this, so that the air exchanges and ventilation take place in a proper manner. These are the standards of housing, healthy housing in India. Now, coming to the rural housing. In a rural housing, generally it is seen for a family there are two living rooms, okay, with an ample veranda space being provided. The build-up area is less than one third of the total area, and the setback area is more than the two third. Okay, the build-up area for the house is less than one third, and the setback area or the surrounding area is the two third. Now comes there should be a separate kitchen and the area for washing and cleaning. There should be a separate kitchen. This is the area of kitchen and a washing. Nearby water body is there. So there should be a separate area for kitchen, washing, drying and cleaning. It should not be within a living room. The kitchen area should be separate. There should be a presence of sanitary latrine, and the window area, it should be less than of the 10% of the floor space area. And the main thing to remember for the rural housing is the cattle shed, if it is present, it should be more than 25 feet away from the house. All those points of less than 10% floor space area for the window for in case of rural housing, the cattle shed should be present more than 25 feet away from the house. These are the points of MCQs. So please do remember and pay attention to it. The last point I have discussed, that the cattle shed area should be built more than 25 feet away from the house, because it may lead to various mosquito borne diseases. Various zoonotic diseases will come up. Next, coming to the criteria of overcrowding. When we say overcrowding, we mean more number of people are staying than there is a space. Like in this picture, there are more number of people staying in a small area and it is overcrowded. In terms of community medicine point of view, there are three criteria for overcrowding. Number one, the persons per room. Number two, the floor space area. And number three, the sex separation. The sex separation criteria is also known as psychological overcrowding. I want to explain here that the persons per room, we have to remember it like that one room will have two persons. Two room will have three persons. Three room will have five persons. Four room will have seven persons. Five room will have 10 persons. And then after each subsequent addition of room, there should be plus two. So with that, if there are 16 members, then there should be presence of 8 living rooms. That was about the persons per room criteria. Now coming to the floor space area. With floor space area, it is being said that 70 to 90 square feet area is ideal for one person to stay. Okay. Then 90 to 110 is for 1.5 persons to stay. Okay. In between 50 to 70 square feet is ideal for half a person to stay. In this concept of overcrowding, when we say half a person, I mean that when the age group of the person is between 1 to 10 years, they are considered to be half a person. More than 1 but less than 10, then they are considered as half a person. Less than 1 year of age, they are considered as 0% from the point of view of overcrowding. So, regarding 70 to 90 square feet is for one person, we have to remember that 50 to 70 square feet is for half a person, the persons of 1 to 10 year of age, and below 50 square feet is not suitable for a person to stay. Next comes sex separation. With the criteria of sex separation, it means when two persons of more than 9 years of age and who are not husband and wife, other than husband and wife, and they are bound to stay in the same roof. I mean, two persons of opposite sex, more than 9 years of age, not husband and wife, if they are bound to stay in the same room, then it is known as psychological overcrowding. Okay, so these are the three criteria in which the overcrowding depends. Moving forward to the public policy of housing. So, house is important for all. So, with this, the government has started the minimum needs program. It formed the core of the rural housing program in India. Initially, it was started as Indira Awas Yojana, where the government used to set up the rural uh, households, and they used to build up rural houses under this program. They would be building one room, one kitchen attached with latrine and bathroom and a smokeless chulha. Under this Indira Awas Yojana, the government started building houses, this kind of houses in rural setting. In 2016, the Indira Awas Yojana was further upgraded as Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. So, in this scheme, the rural households, in case of rural house areas, were built up, and it was taken up as a campaign mode. And since then, many rural households are being constructed. It also provided employment to the rural population. That was about the public policy regarding the housing and its standards. Thank you very much. That was all for today's lecture. It is one of an important topic from the community medicine practical point of view. The standards of housing, the standards of healthful housing, the criteria of overcrowding, ventilation, all such things come as a viva question in the question exam, or it is a starting point for the uh, long case and the short case that are being given to the students in the exam. So that was all for today. If you have any queries, comments for the lecture, please feel free to uh, put it in the comment box. I would be happy to answer it. That was all for today. Thank you.